Hey guys, it's Darthmagus here, and today I'm going to be giving my review of Spider-Man PS4, or the one that came out in 2018. It's interesting how these games, there are multiple games just called Spider-Man, which is why we have to add the PS4 or the 2018. Yeah. So this is what was voted in the vote of April. Sorry it's a tad late, I've been focusing on other things. And eventually I'll get back into a more normal release schedule. So, Spider-Man 2018 came out on the 9th, or no, September 7th, 2018, and it was pretty popular. It was, I believe, nominated for Game of the Year, and it has sold 20 million copies as of November of 2020. There is also now the ability to play it on PS5. It's like a whole upgraded version. Before we start, I want to say a few things. Firstly, I will not be talking about the DLC at all in this video. I believe, 3. I do own all of them, and I have completed all of them, but I don't think I'm going to mention them in this video. I'm thinking of maybe starting a new series, which is just reviewing DLCs. Like, the Smash Bros. DLCs, Spider-Man, and, Breath of the Wild. So that might be coming eventually. Also, there's going to be a spoiler warning. I will be talking about the story of the game and tons of features, so if you don't want to be spoiled with that, um, be warned. So let's get started. Firstly, I'm just gonna talk about what I enjoy about the game. I love the story. This is really a pretty nice Spider-Man story. It goes right around. You start off with a Spider-Man that's been going for around 8 years, going and capturing the Kingpin. After you do that, is a whole story with the Mr. Negative, the Sinister Six. You get to fight tons of classic Spider-Man villains, and there's this narrative with Doc Ock, how he starts as Peter's mentor, but then becomes more of course, an enemy. And overall, the game was very much thought out in its story. It all makes sense, and I think it's great. Some other things that probably the best part about this game is the actual gameplay. The fighting is great. All the buttons are great. Your basic attacks, your special attacks, all the different web attacks, which are all fun to use. And then there's the special, or like the special attacks. Every single Spider-Man suit, which we'll talk about in a little bit, has their own special moves per se. For example, the um, advanced suit has a move which just allows you to shoot webs out all around you, which is pretty nice. Another thing about gameplay is the focus meter. The focus meter, when that charges up, is how you do things like KO moves, I'm just gonna call them, or I guess finishers, where you go up to someone, hit like combination of circle and triangle, and just KO them. So that is that, and that's also how you heal. I think it's great when games like this have a way just to heal that you can like almost always use, because in games like Breath of the Wild you need food to heal, or in games like Minecraft you need food to heal. When Spider-Man has, as you're fighting, you'll gain more of ability just to heal. And I've played this game on every difficulty, so when you get to the ultimate difficulty, you really need that healing, like the constant healing. See, because like you really use the dodge button. You really use the dodge ability once you get to those harder things. So, because one like gunshot can like completely mess you up. Another thing I absolutely love about this Spider-Man game, which I think makes it one of the best, is the swinging. Swinging around New York City is one of the biggest parts of Spider-Man. You know, just watching him swing around magically any place. And the best thing about this game, and I also Spider-Man Miles Morales, is they finally, I believe, mastered the swinging in the game. Back when I was younger, I used to own The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for PS4, and the swinging on that game was kind of eh. It was just kind of like you hit the button and you go. But in this game, they had so much more. You can swing, you can dive, you can like propel yourself forward, do all sorts of tricks, and I think it makes it great. It makes it so you'd rather swing across New York City than just use fast points, which you usually have access to in a few extent locations. And I really think that's a great thing for a Spider-Man game to make it so you'd rather spend a bit more time to swing throughout the city and have fun than just teleport and then do as little swinging as possible. At least that's how I look at it. And that's probably my favorite thing about this game is just the ability to, not even without any objectives, just have fun swinging around New York City, doing whatever Spider-Man does. Another thing I love about this game are the suits. There's tons of classic suits. Everything from the original to the movie ones, or I guess the current movie ones, non-DLC, and some exclusive to the game, like the advanced suit, and just tons of references. It's great. There's 28 in total in the base game, and I loved collecting these suits. My top three, honestly, are number three, the spider armor. This is basically in the comics when Peter Parker made himself like a mix between a Spider-Man suit um and a Iron Man suit, but like much more leaning to the Spider-Man side. And it has a suit power, like every single one has. So this suit power gives you defense shield, which gives you a energy field that temporarily absorbs all damage. That's pretty useful, just defense. This is probably this and my number one are probably the suits I use the most. Number two is the actual Iron Spider suit from Infinity War and Endgame, which they added in. I love it because I love those two movies, and I think it looks really nice. The suit power you get in this is the Iron Arms, the 6 extendable arms. I think that's a great feature. I believe it's 6. Oh no, it's 4. Yeah, basically you wreak havoc with 4 articulated arms made from rapidly grown atomic iron alloy crystal. Basically, you get stronger punches with arms, with like the Iron Spider's arms. I think that's great. And then my number one is definitely the vintage comic book suit. I love like vintage retro stuff, and I think this is great. You have the old comic-y look, the way it kind of doesn't fit in the air world around it, but also kind of does, which I love. And it has the best suit power. It unlocks the greatest thing, quips. Insult your enemy's pride. No actual use. It's just awesome. This was definitely my most used suit. I just loved how wacky the vintage looked compared to like the realistic everything else. So I think that's great. Another thing is the what else you can do I guess the post game. There is a good amount of post game after you beat the story, which the story is pretty long. It just takes you a while to beat. There's tons of other challenges and stuff like that. So there's Black Cat challenges. Basically, you have to go and I guess take pictures of certain things. There's Taskmaster challenges, which you have to go and beat certain like agility trials, stealth trials, and combat trials, and many more, which I'll get to later. Now, the one thing I don't think is so good about this game is part of the campaign, and these are the different, I guess, areas where you're not in a Spider-Man shoot. Either you're playing as Mary Jane, or Peter Parker, or even Miles Morales. It really it's kind of like for me, it's just whole change of I guess pace. You go from being able to go super fast in your Spider-Man shoot to kick butt to walking around somewhat slowly. I guess you have a run button and I guess doing more menial tasks. And for me, it's just like I'd much rather be playing with the Spider-Man suit, having combat, having a lot more fun, than trying to be stealthy around an art museum as Mary Jane. That's really the only negative I have at this game. The only thing I didn't enjoy, and even then, it wasn't horrible. It's just I would have rather not done that. And now I'm gonna talk about what it takes to complete the game. Of course, this is a PlayStation game, so it has achievements. So yeah, I just picked the hardest achievement the hardest achievement there is that I completed, which I'm probably gonna say is the Heart Manhattan achievement. Basically, 100% complete the game. Simple. So I got that achievement, and that includes things like stopping a certain amount of crimes in every district. Basically, you basically play in the entire island of Manhattan, and it's split up in different districts like Hell's Kitchen, and I guess the main city, Chinatown, stuff like that, Harlem, and then you basically in every section you have a certain amount of tasks to do. For example, you have to get all backpacks. Basically, it's a little backpack stuck to a wall which has a reference in it. That's really all side missions, stuff like helping people. I don't know, just like helping people with certain tasks. Like for example, if I don't know, someone's robbing their store, you'd go and like help. The Taskmaster challenges, which I mentioned earlier, Black Cat challenges, which I mentioned earlier. You have to stop a certain amount of crimes in every area, so you just have to. Crimes are everything from um, drug sellers on top of buildings to jewelry store robbers to car chases. There's tons of variety, and they're constantly spawning. One reason I love this game's crimes is the only other experience of a Spider-Man game I really have, other than I guess Lego, is with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 on PS4. In that game, you had a meter, which said how bad or good you are at Spider-Man, or how being, I guess, Spider-Man, which affected how people treated you. And if you like missed like a single crime happening in the area, which there were a lot of, your your meter would go down, and just give up at that point if you like accidentally leave your console on and you like miss a few things, in which your rating goes from meh to horrible, and then people start like, it isn't fun. Other than that, there's a few other things you do. For example, um, tons of story stuff, side stories, and research stations, which basically you go to a certain place and change certain frequencies, etc. Like there's so much you can do, which is why it's pretty hard to get 100% on all districts. And in conclusion, this game is great. This Spider-Man PS4 is a super fun Spider-Man game, and I think it's definitely the best Spider-Man game ever made. Honestly, I am super excited to go finish and complete Miles Morales. And yeah, overall, I'd give this rating a 5 out of 5. I would definitely recommend getting into it and completing it. If only it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive. I think it'd be great if a game like this was on, like, I don't know, Xbox. But I guess they own the rights. Super fun. Yeah. Well, that was my video, and see you guys next time. My plan is to get back to a full release schedule in July. Have a good day. Bye.